Hi, everybody. I'm Willow Bradner of willowbradner.com. And I'm here today to invite you guys to this amazing New Year Manifestation Masterclass. If you've not been with me before, then this might be new for you, but this experience is always so lovely. So we'll have a meditation in the middle of it. Make sure that you have some paper or a notebook that you can take notes on. Make sure that you're in a comfortable place, and if you can, turn off your phone and any outside noise that might otherwise disrupt you or get in your way. And just give me a little second as we turn on our shared screen, and we are going to just share this with you. Again, if you're interested, you can visit me at willowbradner.com and get any more bonuses off of that page that might interest you. So today we are talking about the new year. And I'm curious for each of you, how many of you have already begun manifesting for the new year? It's around November 1st, right, that we begin to realize that the year is nearly over. And we do two things at that moment. We begin to categorically tear down the year we're in, meaning that we energetically start focusing on all the things that we didn't like and all the things that were not working for us in this year, as we begin to manufacture ideas, dreams, and whimsy for the following year. But what we tend not to do is really focus on all the amazing things that have already happened in this year and how we might be able to build on that momentum. So over the course of this masterclass, what we're going to do is learn how to manifest from a place of today, beginning with the momentum that you've thus far created from this particular year. Even if, because I see some of you already winding your brains, even if this year felt like the most trite, terrible, awful, no good year to you, and some of them really can be, but even in the most terrible, no good year, there are momentous ahas that come of that. There are good things that happen in every year. We're talking 365 days. And I promise you that in the course of this, you will be able to find yourself a couple really good, important memories with which you can build momentum on for this next year. It's not a race to the finish line, because it's not a race at all. Have you already begun planning the changes that you want to make in 2019? What I see a lot is that we plan for this next stage, but we don't begin the next stage. Oftentimes we'll say, I'll start the diet January 1st, or I will start looking for the new career that I want January 1st, or I will begin to find love January 1st. And so what we do is we eat all the candy, the sugar, the pecan pie, while drinking all the booze in sight, while not going to the gym, while making excuses that we don't have time, or we don't have money, or we don't have the resources or the know-how. But we could start planting the seeds right now for all the things that we want. We could, in fact, build on the momentum of the current year and actually begin to answer to what it is that we want in the new year, starting today. One of the things that I think a lot of people are so sort of disillusioned by is that there's this magic finish line, that somehow December 31st is the end of something and January 1st is the beginning of something. But we never look at June 30th and say to ourselves, well, July 1st is going to be the best day of my whole new life, right? We never say that, but somehow this change in season, this annual calendar that we have, has a magic finish line, has this idea around it that somehow everything's about to get better as soon as you cross over this magic finish line, right? But what I see so often is that, again, if we've carried all the negativity, if we've spent the whole last 2 months of our year talking about how much we can't wait for the new year because this year sucked so badly, and we spend all this time in preparation for this new year to come, we then cross the finish line, but we've carried with us this terribly negative energy all the way to that finish line. And then we're shocked, just shocked, that the new year begins with negative energy, that the new year begins with not such great news, it turns out. And so what I ask is, what if you began to manifest from a place of everything that worked today can only get better tomorrow? And that today I begin here in this energy that I want, versus withholding myself or avoiding beginning or stopping myself from actually becoming the person that I want to be today. Okay? This isn't a Cinderella story. There's no Prince Charming that we know of coming chasing after us, right? So the other thing that we see at the beginning of every year, right, is this resolution. We resolve to be better people. We resolve and resort to eat right, feel better, do all the things that we haven't done in 2018. And again, because we've negatively charged the end of one year, and we've assumed and imagined a magic finish line that when we cross over, somehow, like the DeLorean in Back to the Future, we're going to hit the electrical line and we're going to shoot towards the future and everything's going to be fixed and magically cured, right? We imagine this magical line. So we imagine ourselves that we can resolve everything on a single day. And it's this very extreme behavior. Do you agree? It's very extreme thinking to imagine that there's not some sort of stretching process to get us there. That one day we're drinking all the booze and eating all the pie and having all the fun. And the next day we're going to deprive ourselves and we're going to diet and we're going to exercise and we're just going to be different people altogether. It's a really extreme way of thinking, but as well, it's a failure way of thinking. We fail in this extremism because it's not actually right for who we are. I had a girlfriend the other day say very clearly, like, for her to cut off drinking for 30 days straight, to deprive herself of drinking for 30 days straight, means that all she's doing is thinking about the booze that she's going to have at the end of the 30 days. We do this in dieting as well. I'm going to cleanse for the next 5 days. And at the end of the cleanse, I'm going to eat the burger, the French fries, and the margarita. Intuitively, this doesn't work for us. Intuitively, you have to really stop for a second and see yourself from an intuitive perspective of what actually works for you. One drink a night is not the killer of you. Maybe dialing it back to where you're drinking once every 3 days might be better for you. But the extreme start-stop creates a childlike behavior in each of us, wherein we decide, like children at that very minute, that we're going to reward ourselves by actually taking ourselves out at the end of the good things that we do. Because extremism doesn't work. It doesn't stretch. You cannot wake up and go to CrossFit for the first time ever in your whole life. Let's say you're 20 pounds overweight and you decide to go to CrossFit. You do not go to CrossFit and then manage to pull off 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups and carry all the weights and do all the things and show up the next day without pain or soreness. Rather, if you were to do that, you would likely hurt yourself, pull some serious muscles, and certainly be so sore the next day that you might not be able to go back to CrossFit. And that creates the failure. So intuitively is how we moderate the extremism. Intuitively, we begin today, on the day that we make the decision that the new year looks better and brighter than what today looks like. The day we decide that we want something new or we want to see change is the day that we begin to make the change. It is the day we begin to start taking baby steps and action towards the things that we want in moderation, so that we can be successful and we can win what it is that we want. Because actually moving more slowly and predictably is more successful than doing nothing at all or assigning some resolution and extremism. So how do we manifest our dreams? How do we manifest the dreams that we have inside of us? Because when we're looking at the new year and we're imagining and assuming what it is that we want and what we're after, it's actually manifesting it. It's actually manifesting. We're starting to imagine what it is that we want in our energetic lives. We're starting to imagine what it is that means something to us. And ultimately, when we're manifesting from this place of this year sucks and the next year is going to be better, we're manifesting out of lack. We're manifesting out of a place where we don't believe that we can have what we want right now. So we're extending a finish line. But what if what you want every year is the same thing? What if what you are desiring as more is the same more that you've been asking for every single year? And what if this year is the year you get successful with it? And it begins with this today, this moment, as you're watching this video. You begin by writing down what it is that you want. Write it down. If we write it down, we claim it. We claim the energy with which we're looking to get. And then I want you to sort of meditate or pray on it. And what that means in a more or less woo fashion is that you put intentionality around what you want. You begin to hand it over to the universe. And if you've been following along with the other masterclasses, then you're understanding more about your intuition. You're understanding more about your own psychic abilities. You are understanding more about what manifesting and meditation do for you. So in the manifestation and the prayer, we take what we want. We take what we want and we hand it over to the universe. And we meditate on it and we pray on it and we ask for directions. We ask for help. We ask to be shown the way to what it is that we want. Because the ego's version of this, if we're to divulge back into the intuition and the ego's version of a manifestation is to put everything in action and push up a hill everything that we want. The intuitive version of what it is that we want is, again, the lack of extremism, moderation, baby steps every day, looking for changes in direction, listening for the calls and the answers to what it is that we want, seeing the alternative possibilities, looking for open doorways. So when we meditate and we pray, we hand off what we want to the universe. We plant the seeds. The ego aspect of ourselves is we plant the seeds. What that means is that we actually do create action items. We do create tiny baby steps that we can do every day towards the thing that we want. We take responsibility for what we are after, right? And in that, and as a result of that, we can feel a sense of control around what we want. We can feel as though we are in charge and in control, while also handing it off to the universe. So this is our ego and our intuition working in tandem. We give the ego little things that it can do every day. We give the intuition the ability to meditate and pray so that the universe can then answer to the thing that we want. Whether it be a thing, whether it be an object or an experience or a lifestyle that we're after, whatever it is that you want. What you want can be love. What you want can be freedom. What you want can be shoes. What you want could be a new house. What you want could be money in your bank. What you want could be a new career. Anything that it is that you want, you still have to create some sort of action item to get yourself in that direction, which is to say to the universe, I'm all in. I'm all in. And I'm going to do the things that I want right now today because I believe in it so much, because I want it so much. But here's the really tough part of manifesting. And again, if you've been watching these master classes, then you're understanding more and more every day about manifesting. And that is, once you've planted the seed, as you begin to take action towards the thing that you want, as you meditate on it and pray on it, however you see this is going, you then have to let go of the outcome. And that's the big news, guys. The big news is you have to let go of the outcome, how it's going to look at the end of the day, how it's going to feel at the end of the day. That's not on you. What's important here is that you create, that you write it down, that you plant the seeds, and that you meditate or pray. And what that means is you could be walking, driving, and considering what it is that you want every day, however that goes. Every day you're sort of putting some energy into it and asking for help in some capacity, asking your angels, asking your guides, asking your intuition to help open up the doors and show you the way. I have a dear, dear friend who is a neuroscientist. That means she does a lot of science with the brain. And her version of manifesting is so incredible. She says that when you plant a seed or an idea in manifesting, so as you have written down those words, I want blank, whatever your blank is, your brain, the ego aspect, the ethereal aspect of your brain begins to go out and starts looking for clues, starts looking for the directions, starts trying to figure out how you're going to get what it is that you want. And this is where the meditation or the prayer or the intentionality goes into this aspect of manifesting. For every day that you write it down, for every day that you give some energy or some time to the thing that you want, your brain begins to start looking for the answers. Your brain begins to start looking for the ways in which it can come true, for the ways in which you can win the $1 million, or that you could get the new career, or that you can find the love of your life, or that you can lose the weight and feel better, or that you can, have the life of your dreams, buy the house that you've always wanted. Your brain goes looking for proof. Your brain goes looking for the direction in which it's meant to go. It's the ego's job. And if your intuition is turned up, then your intuition, like a beacon, is like beep, 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 beep. And it too is looking for information. So you've got the universe and your ego both working in tandem together when you're manifesting in this way. But don't stop trying to go for it because it's not the new year. Start today. We ask for change, right? We look at the next year, we look at the next day, and we look for this idea of change. I want something to change. I need something to change. But let's get real clear about what change is. And one of the fear factors of change, one of the reasons that as we are manifesting, we often talk ourselves out of it. We often decide we cannot have it because it's change. And change at its core is expansion. Expansion can be uncomfortable. Do you remember as a child, you may or may not have had the awareness around growing pains, but we certainly speak of growing pains all the time. That is change. Change is growing pains. It's growing outside of yourself and your comfort zone. People always say they want to move houses. And then as soon as they actually move into the bigger house or the cooler house or the new apartment or whatever it is, they'll say, I'm never moving again. This sucked. Because change is tough. Change messes up all the things that you know to be true. When you change houses, you're changing where your silverware is, right? You're changing the drawers. You're changing the dynamics of where your body goes. Recently, we in our house, for instance, we changed our pantry out. We put our washer and dryer in our primary pantry and moved our pantry of all of our snacks and goodies into a smaller cabinet. And we changed where our pots and pans were, and we put dog food in it. We just did all these changes in our house. And my body, it's 3 months later, and my body still goes, when I'm looking for a pot or pan, it still goes to the original pot and pan cupboard because it had been there for 6 years. My body, my mind, and my being has not yet totally accepted that we've changed direction. Same thing if you've changed your job at some point, right? If you've changed your job at some point and it's now in a new direction, you may find yourself driving to the old job because your body and your mind are so attuned and so habitually oriented to go to that one place that you forgot that you changed locations. This is what change is. It's expansion. And it can be uncomfortable. Yet we ask for it every time around this time of the year, we ask for change. So recognize that transformation takes faith. Recognize that transformation and change takes faith, and it takes time. And this is one of those things that we get caught up on all the time. We want the extremism because we've been taught extremism. We've been taught black and white. We've not been taught that there are 50 shades of gray and there's this enormous amount of stretch in between. That again, you don't go to CrossFit and do all the work in one day. You don't start taking guitar lessons on day one and just know how to play guitar. If you've never spoken a foreign language, you don't just suddenly learn overnight how to speak a foreign language. Yet when we talk about a new year, we talk about a new you, right? That again, everything switches like that, but change is expansion, and expansion takes time. And time requires some faith and total surrender, because we don't actually know what the outcome is other than we know what it is that you want, right? So what do you want? What do you want? And here's where I ask you to just simply get comfy in your chair. So we're going to take a moment to meditate. And if you can't meditate, if that feels awkward to you, stare at this beautiful picture that we have in front of us. See the expansion of the universe that's in front of you. Take that moment to just stare into that picture and gaze. If you cannot, close your eyes and settle in. If you're driving and you're listening to this, that's okay. I want you to just be really focused on the pieces in front of you so that you can just get really present. Present meaning that your mind is not wandering off in this time period, but rather you are focused, okay? So take a moment and take a deep breath in through the nose and then out through the mouth. Settle your energy into your personal body. You may have noticed through this masterclass thus far that all of your energy is at the top of your head, swirling around with ideas and excitement. I want you to wiggle your toes and see if you can't bring some of that energy from the top of your head down through your forehead, past your jawbone, into your throat, moving that energy down into your heart, into your lungs, pushing it down into your stomach. Breathing deeply and releasing it down into your sacral chakra, small of your belly, into your hip bones, past your thighs. Breathing still and pushing that energy down into your knees, allowing for the change to happen. Into your calf muscles, into your ankles. And feel the energy grounding at the palms of your feet, really reaching. And just wiggle your body a little bit so that you can notice how your energy has transformed from the top of your head and is now coursing through your arms and your toes and even the tip of your nose. Change at its core is expansion. What is it that you want? What do you want? When you see yourself, when you see your life, what is it that you want? What do you want? Just breathe that in. And I want you to transpose yourself into that space. Seeing yourself in the feeling of having everything that it is that you are after. Having that freedom, that sense of control, that sense of knowing, that sense of purpose. The stability that what you want to create, the love of what you want to create. Feel what it is to have your friends express and show you their love and gratitude, their excitement and joy for you having what you want. Not getting caught up in the what ifs or the hows, letting go of any expectations of how you're going to get there, and just simply living in the present of knowing that you have what you want. And because it's important to understand, for the sake of manifesting, why is it that you want this? Not why you deserve it, not why you're meant to have it. Rather, why will this thing impact you? Why will what you want transition you, transform you, change you? Why do you want this? How does it feel? How does it feel to have what you want? How does it feel in your imagination, in your bones? Do you feel relieved? Do you feel excited? Do you feel accomplished? Do you feel loved? Do you feel bigger than you ever expected to feel? How do you feel? Breathe. Take another moment in the space of what you've created, what it is that you're after. Letting go how. And just breathe. When you feel ready, open your eyes. The changes we're after take time to stretch into. We are technically infants to the things that we want. And we have to take the baby steps to get there and learn to become the energetic match for what we desire. And that takes some time and some faith and perseverance. And what does it mean to become an energetic match for what we want? It means that if you're asking for $1 million, but you're making 10,000, your energetic body needs some time to align itself to 1 million. It might mean next year you make 20,000, and the year after that you make 40, and the year after that 60, and so forth, until you eventually do get to that $1 million plan. But it takes time to stretch into. We don't go to yoga on our first day and nail that down, dog heels down. We stretch. We stretch into that space. If the consideration for the new year is that of lack, is that of this year sucked and next year will be better, I want to remind you that it's not a magic finish line. That it's taking today in the space of not feeling great and actually taking the time to write it down, because today is your day. So I want you to take a moment and take out that paper and pen that I offered you at the beginning of class. Take a moment and just begin to write down these things, and I'll talk you through it. It's super easy to decide that a year sucks and a new one will make it easier. It's just, that's our go-to. This year sucked, next year will be easier, right? But it's so much more enjoyable when we note all the actual wins and joys that happen in our year than to focus on the negative. Albeit sometimes tougher, it actually is more joyful. And that energy is what you want to transfer into the new year, excuse me. So take a moment, and just for the sake of this exercise, for the sake of this masterclass, we're going to keep it short and simple. Write down 3 joyful, impactful, awesome, authentic aha moments of this year. Just 3. And if your brain hurts thinking about it, think about the positive upside of every negative. Because even if you lost somebody you loved this year, I guarantee you people showed up on your behalf to take care of you and to love you in your time of sadness and grief. That would be the positive, is to see how much love you experienced in your loss. If you lost a job this year and it was really tough to find something new, what did you do with your spare time that you wouldn't have been able to do had you had a job? These are the positives, okay? Write down 3. When you have those 3 written down, I want you to take that moment from your meditation and write down what it is that you want starting today and into the new year. What is it that you want? Write that down. What you want, you don't have to wait to begin. But what I recommend is taking what you want and literally buying seeds. Go to your seed or plant store nearby you and get a little pot and plant those wants and those seeds in a pot and begin to water them so that you can see with your own eyes and trust with your own eyes that what you want has validity. You can see the plant grow. And if you're not a green thumb, buy an existing plant and water it every week. And put your want on a toothpick inside of it with a little word on it, like make yourself a little sign inside the plant that exists. And you just water them once a week. Ask your local greenery how to keep that plant alive. If you're really bad at plants, get a cactus or a yucca. They love being ignored. There's not a countdown to change, you guys. It's just right now. The countdown to change is only just the willingness to do so. And while we use the new year as a reason to do so, you don't need a new year to be a new you. You just need to say yes to yourself and begin to move into the space of what it is that you want today. Take that action step today. So again, beginning now, write down the wins, write down the wants, what you want in the new year, next week, next month, or tomorrow. Oftentimes we give ourselves a really giant picture, like, I want to start a multi-million-dollar business. Well, that's a lot of information, right? We have to tear it up into tiny little pieces. We have to figure out what we can do each day to get you to the multi-million-dollar business. We have to decide what teeny tiny incremental moves you can make every single day to get you where you want to go. Okay, so imagine you are an architect of your life and you're drawing a blueprint to what it is that you want to create. But like every great building that's ever been built, it has taken a multitude of human beings to build that building. Days, weeks, months, even years in cases to build these monuments in which we love and represent us. So imagine you are an architect of your life. And Rome was not built in a day. This will take time and you must have faith. And that is why we represent the why. Why is the thing that you want so important? And what is it that you want out of it? So write down that action plan. All of your change begins with baby steps. Just teeny tiny little steps, you guys. But if you know where you're going, it's a lot easier to have the faith. And if you know why you want it so badly, it's so easy to keep that faith. Now, this is big information for you guys. I said this perhaps at the beginning, but the year of the pig begins February 5th. So what that means is you actually have, from this day, if you watch it today, November 6th, you actually have until February 5th for the new year to actually take hold. What that means is you essentially have 3 months to really, really, really get going on your plan, to really begin to transform and transition and create and get clear about what you want for the new year, and begin not by drinking and forgetting and neglecting and avoiding what it is that you want and saving it until that first of the year day, but rather beginning today with what you want, with what you need. I just want to say thank you to everybody who has joined and has watched this. Ooh, yay. We're still going. Okay, here we go. Now my thing comes back. See, technology is always so much fun. So thank you guys so much. Again, if you are new to me, my name is Willow Bradner of willowbradner.com. That's WILLOWBRADNER.com. Usually I have a sign for this, but clearly I did not. So I apologize for that. I just want to say thank you again for joining me in this live masterclass. And if there's any questions or thoughts that come about this, or you have any suggestions for future masterclasses or topics, please don't hesitate to email me personally, willowbradner@gmail.com. Thank you. Lots of love, peace in you guys. Happy manifesting and happy new year. Bye.